So the caretaker hurtled out of the building as if it were on fire. My alarm subsided for a second to draw in his demeanour. His eyes bulged, tears had formed, but were not yet ready to depart from his soul. His legs, gangling, looked weak, as if he was ready to buckle at any moment. There was a pounding at his temples, one that I can only liken to the throbbing of a heart, broken by what it had seen. He fanned his arms outward in an attempt to barricade me from the atrocities. Don't go up there, you don't want to see what he's done. Adamant in my belief that I did not need protecting from my brother or his actions, I pushed past. I knew I had to see for myself. Racing up the stairs, I barged through the dark corridor. It was cluttered, with a pile of posts which slid further to the edge of the door roofed open. I smiled when I saw him standing in the doorway. Dave! He said nothing. My baby brother had done it. He had achieved what he said need doing for the last 8 years. Absorbed in the moment, I took in every little detail. I needed to remember it forever, however painful. I don't know why, but it was important. I inspected his violet face, his neck encased around the taut leather, how his arms and legs floated down, giving the impression that he was standing. I looked at the floor to see the stool, not below his feet, 3 specks of blood, dark and congealed beside it. The smooth curve remains imprinted in my brain. I looked up at the hook, screwed carefully into the doorway, at his beautiful face, blood sucked out of him, breathless and limp. I looked at him and screamed. The scream was silent. I had nothing left. As I turned away, my shoulders shrugged, almost automatically. It was as if my body was telling my brain that it was over. We were over. And I was not prepared for this moment, no matter how many times he brought me close to it. Rejected, the pain was irreversible. The sirens came bustling through the streets. The sound pierced my drums. The police asked me to leave, and I walked at a solemn pace, each step heavier as I edged away from ever seeing David again. When I finally reached the bottom of the stairwell, there was nowhere for me to go. I was lost in sadness, in full glare. Neighbours came out of their homes, huddled in corners, chatter that couldn't quite be heard. Children were playing, their screeches pulsating in the spring wind, a reminder that life still went on, despite the fact that one had ended and another had stalled in agony. 2 police officers descended the building some time later. The policewoman had a little notebook in her hand and sorrow in her eyes. She patted my arm in an attempt to connect. All I could see was David, as they wheeled him out in that black bag. He was concealed from head to toe. I felt a surge of anger so encompassing against the authority of it all, at being asked to leave him, at being questioned by the police. As the sun began to settle and the crowds dispersed, I edged myself away from the cold concrete and onto my feet. Images before me blurred and wrongdoing drenched my soul. All that was ahead was a ghastly sense of having left something behind.